IPM aspirants, welcome to SuperGrads. I am your English mentor, Sana ma'am. And today I am here with a much awaited session on IPMAT Indore 2023 exam analysis. Of course, we are doing the verbal ability section. So I've already emphasized on the importance of PYPs in my introductory session. I hope you've been watching all the previous sessions. Now, the point is you are in the most crucial phase of your preparation. I can say comfortably that this is the last leg of your preparation. And at this juncture, solving previous year papers is extremely important. It is indispensable to get the actual and the most concise and perfect glimpse of your examination, right? So, of course, no guesses what we are doing today. We would be solving all the questions and I would be giving you very lucid explanations for each and every question. That definitely is lined up for you. But before that, I would also be talking about a general paper attempting strategy. I will also tell you about the cutoffs that were there in the previous year. What were the cutoffs like? Okay. So we'll begin with the paper pattern, which I believe you already know, but still for all those who are unversed, this is your examination paper pattern. Of course, you know that in IPMAT Indore, we have 90 questions. We have 3 sections, right? QA. And we, of course, have a short answer section that is again based on QA. And then we have this verbal ability question. Every question has +4 if you attempt it correctly, -1 if you go wrong. That's the marking scheme. Sectional time limit, 40 minutes each. So I think it's very clear that in English, you have to solve 45 questions only in 40 minutes. So that's not going to be very easy. Pretty evident, the duration of the entire test is 120 minutes. Marking scheme has already been mentioned. This much we already know? Okay. So now I have to discuss something else. So what are we expecting? Are we supposed to solve each and every question, all 45 questions? Definitely not. But then again, it all depends on the difficulty level of the examination. How was the last year's paper? If I talk about IPMAT Indore 2023, I believe the verbal ability section was easy to moderate. Yes. In fact, I would term it easy. Reason being that yes, when I'll come to the questions one by one, I'll tell you about it. See, the idea here is there's so many question types which are very much doable. While others, yes, there were some close choices. But then apparently when we talk about this is not a very good reason to be happy about because the cutoffs went exceptionally high. Yes, the cutoff for English last year was 125. So to score 125 marks, how many questions one should attempt? Definitely, somewhere around 32 questions, correct? But then we also have to account for the negative marking. Right? In English, you can't be 100% accurate. You're bound to stumble at some of the other places. So obviously, keeping in mind the negative marking, I think you can be safe if you attempt 34 to 35 questions correctly. Playing it safe, if one has attempted 35 questions, right? Then even if we take up -10, which is nobody actually attempts all the questions, but even if one does, so this would be 140 questions, 140 -10, still we would be 130, which is above the cutoff. Pure maths, right? So the idea is, in this paper, one must have scored more than 125, right? Which is 34 to 35 questions correctly to be able to clear the cutoff. Now, this is certainly daunting. This is not very easy. Though the paper turns out to be moderate, but then doing it in such a situation where you're hard pressed for time, that is the challenge. So anyway, that can be developed with a lot of practice by taking multiple mocks and by having the right set of strategies, right? So let's begin. The first 6 questions were based on passages. Now, class, a general strategy for my section, that is for the VA section, would be that you are supposed to browse through the paper in the first go, get a general overview so that you understand which questions are doable in the paper. And once you've assessed your comfort level and your strong areas, accordingly, you can pick questions. Question selection is the most important thing. While there are some question types which typically don't take much time, for example, fill in the blanks and even grammar questions and all vocabulary based questions, they will not consume a lot of time of yours. There can be other questions which turn out to be a little more time consuming, like passages or parajumbles. Now, because parajumbles normally turn out to be very tricky at times, and students, because it's theta, right, type in the answer, there are no options given to you, which is really a very major challenge for students. If you're not comfortable with parajumbles, you can keep it for the end. But when I talk about the last year parajumbles were fairly easy, I believe. All right, even the passages were easy. Class, let me tell you one thing very clearly. I believe passages is one thing that you can bank upon. So I would urge you people to work on your comprehension, right? So that this is something which is not very knowledge based, it is skill based. So be able to do that. So without giving you much gyan and lectures on your overall strategy and how you should be preparing, let's now dive into first passage. Whenever you read a passage, you don't have to try to remember every bit of information, but yes, the more you remember, the better it is, obviously. But don't be obsessed with only remembering facts. In fact, I want you to do mind mapping. As we proceed parawise, we must try to filter out all the important information, right? So let's start doing this. This was a very easy passage. This is about health and fitness in general, right? It talks about the importance of sleep, okay? So it says that the idea of being fit is usually assumed that, one has to exercise regularly or you have to maintain a healthy diet, but that's not enough. People don't realize the importance of sleep. Sleep plays a crucial part when it comes to our well-being. It is a restorative process. This is very important, which shouldn't be negotiable. So the first paragraph is introducing the subject of the passage, right? And it says that sleep is very important for our health and well-being, and we should not ignore it. The next one. It now tells you what are the reasons, what are the factors that lead to irregular sleep patterns, right? Hectic working hours, increasing stress levels, unhealthy lifestyle, they cause irregular sleep. And what happens? What is the consequence? And of course, it hampers our health. And we, of course, get so many lifestyle conditions or problems like deranged cholesterol and diabetes. So these are some illnesses like disturbed cholesterol and diabetes, which is a direct aftermath of disturbed sleep patterns. And it then says that, okay, fine, people think that cholesterol and diabetes is primarily genetic, right? And it, of course, gets exacerbated or worsened through these unhealthy eating patterns and lifestyle, poor lifestyle, right? But it is not generally known that sleep deprivation can put a person at risk of both these things. So it's a very important thing that people don't realize that merely sleep deprivation can actually lead to these problems. We normally think that one has to be genetically inclined or susceptible to these illnesses, but that's not all, okay? Even sleep deprivation can actually lead to these medical issues. Sleep helps your body and mind repair and recharge themselves. This is important. And then it says that if you're sleep deprived, you can have so many problems like insomnia is, that sleeplessness that makes your body work abnormally. Okay? And with sleep, you prepare your body for the next day. If you are sleep deprived, you will be exhausted. Well, this is a mere repetition. And And now there is some science coming in. Okay, so here onwards, it's important. The second paragraph was too detailed and very general. We have already understood that. यहाँ पे this says that sleep deprivation can lower levels of leptin, a hormone that stabilizes metabolism and appetite. This is important. So there is a hormone leptin which stabilizes what? Your metabolism and appetite. And when you're sleep deprived, it gets affected. This can also lead to obesity. All right. Then it tells you about another hormone. It can raise the levels of this hormone, which is ghrelin. So with ghrelin, this happens that this is a hunger hormone. When you are sleep deprived, ghrelin will increase. You will feel hungry. Okay. Leptin will decrease. Leptin is the satiety hormone that gives you a feeling that, okay, fine, you are full. So obviously it will lead to obesity in the long run. That's why it says that people seek relief in foods. That's the reason why people keep on eating. Okay. Now it tells you about the American Academy of Sleep that recommends that, okay, fine, you must get at least 7 to 8 hours of sleep. And when you stay up for long, it leads to unhealthy snacking, and then that can lead to type 2 diabetes. Now it is finally giving you some recommendations. Here it gave you some details about hormones, what exactly happens inside our body when we don't sleep properly. Finally, here it's telling you, it's in a way advising you to have a definite sleep pattern. Fine. When you sleep and wake up at the same day, you will have quality sleep. All right. Apart from that, yes, it's important that your body is relaxed enough. So even before sleeping, it's better if you put your phone at the side half an hour prior to sleeping, right? At least half an hour before going to bed. And the place should be dark and quiet. And then you can even read a book or maybe listen to some soothing music so that you get a good sleep. So passage was very easy, right? Even the questions are easy. So we have understood the extract of the passage. Let's jump to the questions. The first one, being deprived of sleep can result in. What do you think should be the answer? Mental exhaustion, terminal illness, hunger satiation, metabolism loss. Clearly, mental exhaustion. The passage has clearly stated that you get mentally exhausted. Your brain doesn't get enough rest, okay, because sleep is a restorative process. Fine. So this is definitely A. Terminal illness is a very permanent kind of an illness which cannot be cured easily. So I would say it's not mentioned in the passage. We are not supposed to assume things on our own or bring in our general understanding of a concept. Whatever is given in the passage, we have to go by that. There's a general rule of passage solving. I hope you know that. So factually not supported. Hunger satiation? No, when you are satiated, you feel very full. Whereas what the passage says is the opposite. Right? If you don't get proper sleep, there are some hormones that get imbalanced and you might feel even more hungry. That is the reason why you keep snacking. And then you later put on weight. So this is just not happening. Metabolism loss, it only says that, that particular hormone settles or regulates your metabolism, but it doesn't say that there's a loss in your metabolism. So obviously even this is out. आप समझ रहे हो ना? I'm delivering in English. I hope it is perfectly comprehensible to everybody, right? See, we have students from every pocket of the country. So keeping that in mind, I'm delivering in English, but I'll try to mix it up maybe. In what way does sleep contribute to a person's well-being? By helping the body replenish its resources? Yes. By adding power and strength to the muscles? Where is it given? Where is it given in the passage? It is not given in the passage, right? By increasing a person's appetite, if you are increasing the appetite, does it lead to your well-being? Your appetite would be just right. It should be just right, not a lot. Okay, so obviously this is ridiculous. By regularizing a person's daily routine. Come on, it's not even logical. आपसे पूछा क्या जा रहा है? फर्स्ट अंडरस्टैंड द क्वेश्चन. स्लीप कैसे कंट्रीब्यूट करेगी आपकी पर्सनल वेलबींग में? ये बोल रहा है कि अगर आप अपने डेली रूटीन को रेगुलराइज कर लोगे तो उससे क्या होगा? उससे आपको स्लीप अच्छी आएगी. बट दिस इज इररेलेवेंट टू द क्वेश्चन दैट इज आस्क्ड. Obviously helping the body replenish its resources. Passage में clearly दिया हुआ था what happens when you sleep and how your body copes up. Fine. So of course it's a restorative process. A. In order to remain physically fit, one must maintain a set sleep pattern, snack frequently, of course not, raise levels of ghrelin, no, read a good book every night, no. Reading a good book every night was just a suggestion, right? It can make you fall asleep easily, all right? And you can have a sound sleep. That was given in the passage. Coming to this, maintain a set sleep pattern. ये clearly बोला गया passage में कि आपका regular sleep pattern होगा तो आप healthy रहोगे. Very easy questions. Yes. Raise levels of ghrelin. No. Ghrelin would make you hungry. Fine. And that would lead to obesity. All right. The main focus of the passage is on, again, main idea question, very easy question. अभी तक जो questions आ रहे थे वो mostly जिसको हम कहते हैं direct questions या factual questions थे. Some of them could be a bit of inferencing, which is again very easy. This is the main idea question. You have to identify what was the primary purpose or the focus of the passage. Well, the author wanted to tell us about the importance of sleep and the perils of insomnia. Insomnia is sleeplessness, and what are the dangers? So if you don't sleep enough, you will get some medical problems. Okay, definitely this is a very good option, but of course we're not in a hurry. We have to evaluate all the other options. Option B, stability of leptin and ghrelin in the human body. Now sometimes students say, ma'am, ये भी तो दिया है passage में. Of course दिया है. There will be hundreds of facts given in a passage, but every idea which is given in the passage does not become the main idea of the passage. Please understand that when talking about the main focus, you've got to ensure that you keep the scope of the passage in mind. Here it is being too specific. It's just one of the many ideas given in the passage. This does not encapsulate the essence or gist of the passage. Please understand. So this certainly is not the main focus of the entire passage. Ill effects of junk food high in carbs. No, they are not discussing junk foods, and that is certainly not the main focus. Dangers of high levels of cholesterol and diabetes. Again, clearly you know the main focus is about sleep, sleep irregularity, the dangers, the perils of insomnia. I hope this much is clear. As per the passage, which of these sentences is not correct? One's body and mind should be properly relaxed to ensure good sleep. Okay, which of these is not correct? Sometimes students, when they are in a hurry, when they are actually impatient and anxious, they miss words like this. Not any likha madam humko. Please don't do these silly mistakes. You have to read the question stem very, very carefully. Of course, one's body and mind should be properly relaxed. This is right as per the passage. So this cannot be the correct answer because आपको not correct पूछा गया. Insufficient sleep can lead to obesity. Yeah, that's also given. Irregular sleep patterns can result in health problems. Absolutely right. So of course, B and C are also out of the game. Regular exercising and eating healthy food alone ensure fitness. That's wrong. Because this was refuted right in the beginning of the passage, in the very first paragraph, where the writer very clearly said that it is believed that these are the two things, but that's not all. You cannot forget sleep. Quality sleep is important for your fitness and well-being. तो sleep को तो miss कर ही दिया ना आपने. आपने जो बोल दिया alone, so that's a problem. So this is wrong. So this is going to be the right answer. And the last question based on this. The objective of the passage is to... What is the objective of the passage? All right. Provide medical input to the reader. Can be, I'll put a small thing. I have to assess other options. class in passages. Overall in verbal ability, elimination is the key, right? You have to go till the end. You have to evaluate all the options. Try eliminating options, and the one that is left till the end is flawless, is the right answer. Okay. Advise the reader looks good to me. In fact, looks better than A. I'll tell you why. Present psychological insights to the reader. We're not getting anything about psychology here as such. It's not providing us with any psychological insights per se. It's purely telling you about sleep, and yes, some medical input is there with regard to the hormonal imbalances that take place in your body, but that is very limited portion. So this is absolutely wrong. Expose the reader to disinformation. Oh my God, is the passage telling you about some wrong information? Certainly not. Okay, so we come to option A versus option B. Yes. Coming to option A, provide medical input to the reader versus advise the reader. This is more of an advice, because if you look at the last paragraph is full of advice. Fine. Even the entire passage, the tone is that the author is actually highlighting the importance of sleep and then telling you what goes wrong with your body and mind when you don't sleep enough, and then later is giving you some suggestions, right? Some pieces of advice as to how can you get a good sleep pattern, how can you get healthy sleep. So overall, advising would be much better. The passage is not just about providing medical inputs. Medical input, yes, a part of it is doing that certainly. But अगर हम पूरे objective की बात करें तो better तो obviously advising the reader ही होगा. So certainly B is the right answer. Now we come to the next passage. And this is an interesting one. This is based on Apple's retail strategy. Okay, so let's read it. So this is telling you about 2 Apple stores that have been launched in Delhi and Mumbai recently in April 2023. So up till now, what was happening, right? Indians were able to buy the Apple products in India, of course, either online or through a vast network of premium resellers. So these were some selected outlets, right, who were called premium resellers. ये खुद के Apple के stores नहीं थे, but other stores who were selling Apple products. Now this says, will the newfound ability to sell products directly to customers in India, which is the world's second largest smartphone market, impact its fortunes here? So it's a kind of a question. यहाँ पे ऑथर ने assertively नहीं बोला, बट बोला है कि इस फैसिलिटी से ये जो नया एक फीचर आ गया है, that Apple can actually sell its products directly to its customers, will it anyhow impact its fortunes, its revenue, its sales? Apple has long tried to open physical retail stores in India. In 2019, Indian government relaxed some investment rules, okay, and of course removed some restrictions. Apple first launched an online store in India through a website which allows users to request for customized products. तो अब ये बता रहा है हिस्ट्री के पहले कैसे उसने लॉन्च किया, एक ऑनलाइन स्टोर लॉन्च किया, उसके बाद में क्या हुआ, they decided to open physical stores in India. All right. Now an interesting point. It says ऐसा नहीं है that this will change Apple's sales. Now they're starting the physical stores, so there is no guarantee that this would actually increase or boost the sales. But what's going to be the advantage? But it is still a key milestone, because now Apple will be able to deliver a complete or a full Apple experience to its customers. Again, it's saying that change Apple's sales in any dramatic way. Sale बढ़ भी सकती है, but they're not expecting a very dramatic change or some kind of a transformation happening. But they know this is going to be a good step because Apple will be able to provide them with the complete Apple experience. iPhone is still an aspirational product, right? And in the Indian market, which is very price sensitive. And then it says that if you launch an Apple store, you are giving premium experience to your premium consumers. Okay. Now, this is important. It might not pull up your sales, but it pulls more people into the Apple ecosystem, right? So this might not necessarily translate into higher sales, but then as more and more people will come to the stores, they will get to see different Apple services and some parallel products, and they might opt for it. Setting up an Apple store in India is also a statement that the country is now big enough for Apple to be actually interested in expanding operations. So, this is also a touchstone for India that Apple is so keen to establish and expand its operations here in India. Now, it's telling you about when it first started making model in India itself, right? It was way back in 2017, but it was a low end model. And iPhone 14, which was the latest model, it started producing it recently, right? So it accounts for 5% of total iPhone production. So far, Apple was relying on China's manufacturing network, right? But now it's moving to India also. And it tells you some facts about it, that it's predicted by 2025, a quarter of all the iPhones that the company makes could be produced in India. That means the manufacturing of iPhone in India will increase. That's of course being foretold by the experts. Apple was already making between 5 to 7% of its products in India. Now they are targeting to go as high as 25%. Apple had a 60% market share way back in 2022 in the Indians premium smartphone market segment. Okay. And then it was ahead of Samsung. Apple is doing well across different categories. Real issue will be to pull consumers to these flagship centers without alienating the partner sellers. Now, this is a concern, right? The partner sellers should not feel sidelined and they should not get alienated. उनको ऐसा नहीं लगना चाहिए कि अरे यार अब तो ठीक है, अब इन्होंने तो अपने प्रोडक्ट्स खोल दिया, अब हमारा क्या होगा, हम भी नहीं इनके बेचेंगे, ऐसा नहीं होना चाहिए. Apple ने finally समझ लिया है that India's premium market is growing, so why not be serious about it? तो पूरे पैसेज में आपको दिख रहा है एप्पल की रिटेल स्ट्रैटेजी, हाउ एप्पल इज नाउ ओपनिंग अप फिजिकल स्टोर्स, व्हाट इज द ऑब्जेक्टिव बिहाइंड इट, एंड फाइनली व्हाई एप्पल इज सो सीरियस in India, right? Because they are even planning to scale up their manufacturing processes in India. That's it. Easy enough. The first question. Apple's challenge while opening physical stores is to, let's understand. Okay, provide stimulation that draws customers away from other sellers. Well, not directly mentioned in the passage as such, right? We have to go by what the passage has said. Okay, what is mentioned? Offer parallel products packaged more attractively. Retain links with their partner sellers while drawing customers to their stores. एप्पल का चैलेंज क्या होगा? उन्होंने चैलेंज के बारे में पूछा. इफ यू रिमेंबर, अब भी एंड में उन्होंने यही बोला that they'll have to be careful that they shouldn't alienate their partner sellers. Just now, 2 मिनट पहले, 1 मिनट पहले मैंने आपको बताया, right? So retain links with their partner sellers, but of course they want to draw more customers to their stores. ठीक है? A and B are not challenges, right? Subtly alienate customers away from competitors. Again, this is not there. Clearly, explicitly, it is mentioned that C is the right answer. Chaliye. Question number 8. The Apple retail stores in India will, okay, bring in more customers and increase sales. Now, this is problematic because the passage has mentioned twice that this might not lead to an increase in sales. However, they want to attract customers, they want to give them a superior premium Apple experience, and they want to draw them to the ecosystem, Apple ecosystem, right? So this is problematic, hence this is wrong. Not have any impact on Apple's image. This would be too negative. We can't say like that. Of course, if this were the case, why would they open physical stores? Of course, it would impact Apple's image in the sense that, customers will come and will experience Apple better. So, though directly the passage has not mentioned anything about Apple's image in the eyes of the customer, but then saying this that it will not have any impact on Apple's image is definitely not right. Drive healthy competition in the smartphone market. Now, while this might appear a little like the correct answer, but the point is the passage is absolutely mute on the fact that opening of Apple retail stores will actually drive competition in the entire smartphone industry. सिर्फ फिजिकल स्टोर एप्पल के खोलने से पूरे स्मार्टफोन मार्केट में, पूरी स्मार्टफोन इंडस्ट्री में कितना चेंज हो जाएगा, कितना कंपटीशन क्रिएट हो जाएगा, दिस इज नोवेयर बीन क्लेम्ड और मेंशन्ड इन द पैसेज. सो इवन दिस इज आउट. It will not materially impact sales of iPhones. Yes, please understand the word materially here. It was given that it would not translate to a very, very huge or phenomenal increase in sales, right? So this might not happen. That's given in the passage. So obviously D is correct as per the passage and it is the right answer. I hope it is clear. Next question. Apple's aim is not to increase sales of its iPhones, but to draw people into Apple's ecosystem. In the context of the passage, the statement means that Apple seeks to. Now, the point is that Apple is not eyeing at increase of sales, but it wants to draw people to the ecosystem. So obviously, this has to serve some purpose. What could be the purpose? Right? So the purpose, as I've already explained, would be that, the customers would go to an environment, they would reach an environment, an ecosystem where there are multiple Apple products and services. That's the objective of Apple, right? So this, I think we can evaluate the options one by one and see which one best captures this idea. Option A, attract customers to buy its phones through innovative means. No, there is no innovative mean mentioned as such. And again, directly it says the idea is not to increase the sales. Attract customers by displaying a wide range of aesthetically designed products. Again, explicitly nowhere mentioned about aesthetically designed products. Fine. And इस sentence के essence को, इसके meaning को ये capture नहीं कर रहा है. जब वो डायरेक्टली बोल रहा है कि भाई सेल्स में बूस्ट जो है वो ऑब्जेक्टिव नहीं है, बी द मार्केट लीडर इन द वर्ल्ड ऑफ प्रीमियम स्मार्टफोन्स, नॉट कनेक्टेड टू द सेंटेंस. दिस मे बी देयर ऑब्जेक्टिव, not given in the passage either and not relevant to what is mentioned. Bring customers into a network of related products which it offers. Why are we saying attract them into the Apple ecosystem? Because of this. D is the right answer, class. The main point the passage makes is that Apple, option A, has realized the strategic importance of the Indian market. Yes, this entire passage is written in that context. मतलब वो यही बताना चाह रहे हैं कि अब Apple physical store launch कर सक रहा है, ठीक है, और कब से उसने अपना प्रोडक्शन स्टार्ट कर लिया था. नाउ इट इज इवन ट्राइंग टू अपस्केल द मैन्युफैक्चरिंग ऑल्सो, है ना. हाउ इज इट ट्राइंग टू रीच आउट टू द कस्टमर, गिव देम एन एप्पल एक्सपीरियंस. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस इज रिटन and somewhere or the other, even if you see the closing lines, even the conclusion says it very clearly that Apple has realized the importance of Indian market. Okay, so A looks good to me. I'll put a small tick. Let's see other options. Needs physical stores to expand sales to more buyers of premium products. Now the idea is, the crux of the passage, the objective of the passage somewhere or the other is not this that Apple needs to do this. In fact, Apple is already doing this. So when you say needs physical stores to do that. And secondly, the most important point, ये तो एक secondary idea हो गया, सबसे important point ये है कि जो physical stores हैं, directly पिछले question में आपने देखा कि उसका objective sales बढ़ाना है ही नहीं as such. तो physical stores, they already know, might not translate into higher sales. But they want to pull more people into the ecosystem, and most importantly, they want to provide their premium customers with a premium Apple experience. तो ये थोड़ा सा dicey लगता है. iPhone was already popular in India. No, that's not what the passage is trying to convey कि तो पहले से ही popular है, ये तो उसने कहीं बोला भी नहीं है. और इसलिए पैसेज नहीं लिखा गया है needs new branding and marketing strategies to compete with Samsung. No, Samsung is far behind and nothing like that has been mentioned as such. And they're not talking about that you need more unique branding or marketing strategies. Nothing like that has been mentioned. So for sure, this is also out of the window. And out of all the options given, A looks like the best choice. India is now the focus of Apple operations because why is India the focus now? As we can clearly see in the passage, right? It offers the benefit of a manufacturing base in addition to a market. See, you've got to understand that these are inference-based questions. So the options which are given to you are very often not directly stated in the passage, but it is for us to deduce it from the given information. From the given information, we can clearly see that India is very, very crucial in terms of the smartphone market, right? It is a very big market for the smartphones. Secondly, we're also providing a manufacturing base. And thirdly, iPhone is so interested in it. They are trying to open their physical stores. They are scaling up their operations here. So obviously, this is the reason, because it's a very big market, and secondly, it's also now turning out to be a manufacturing base. It has the world's second largest population. No, that's not the only reason. सिर्फ population का क्या करते अगर वो customers नहीं होते potential. American technology companies want to reduce their reliance on China, not directly stated in the passage. And reduce reliance on China, then why India? There are many other countries. So let's talk from the perspective of India. No other country has the same ease of doing business. Can't be inferred from the passage. It's not written like that. Okay. Answer definitely A. Based on the passage, which one of the following is not true? iPhone 14 is being manufactured in India. Okay, what is not true? Class, again, I keep telling you that, you have to be very careful with the question stem. Understand the question really well. Not true पूछ रहा है, मतलब जो factually गलत होगा वो आपका आंसर होगा. Is being manufactured in India? It's given in the passage. It's right. So can't be the answer. Regulatory restrictions were eased in 2023. Were they? They were eased, but as far as I recall, it was way back in the year 2019 and not 2023. So this is wrong. Manufacturing of iPhones in India commenced in 2017. That's also right as per the passage. Currently, 5 to 7% of all iPhones are manufactured in India is also right. Your answer is going to be option B. And now we are done with the passages and we move to other questions. So passages were fairly doable as you've seen. Well, class, I very much hope that you're solving questions with me. That would be great. आप सिर्फ बैठ के अगर देख रहे हो तो आप बहुत ही पैसिव व्यूअर हो, उससे ज्यादा फायदा आपको नहीं मिलेगा. फायदा आपको तभी मिलेगा जब आप साइमल्टेनियसली सॉल्व करेंगे, राइट? सो कमिंग टू दिस पर्टिकुलर क्वेश्चन बेस्ड ऑन idioms, they ask a good number of questions, 4 to 5 questions based on idioms. Question number 13. If you ask me to give you a rough estimate for the cost of the project, dash, I would say 30 lakhs. Rough estimate is being asked, right? The person says, dash, I would say 30 lakhs. Should it be off the mark? No. Off the mark, बिल्कुल नहीं हो सकता. Off the mark is something which is inaccurate, right? This answer is off the mark. एकदम दूर ही है बिल्कुल करेक्ट आंसर से, राइट? Off the grid. When do we use this expression? Grid refers to network. Very often we say the power grid or something like that. So when we say off the grid, it means that somebody is actually detached from the basic power supply or maybe the basic water supply. So I can say Palestinians are having a tough time because they are completely off the grid. So this also doesn't make sense here. Obviously, off the grid बिल्कुल ही irrelevant होगा. Off the cuff, yes. Off the cuff is जब आपसे कुछ भी suddenly पूछा जाता है एकदम से, right? Without much thinking, without taking much time, whenever you say something, that is off the cuff, right? So यहाँ पे a rough estimate, so the person says off the cuff, it is this. Very nice expression. Try using this in your daily conversations as well. Off the mic is not a standard idiomatic expression. So again, this is wrong. Next question. The nasty comments made by strangers on the social media platforms about the actor made him ill at heart. Well, ill at heart as such is not a very standard idiomatic expression. हम अपने मन से कुछ भी नहीं चूज कर सकते. We'll have to know that this is an idiom or not. Actually, there is a similar one. It is called sick at heart. When something makes you sick at heart, you are really unhappy, you're very sad and disappointed. Okay? Ill at heart, no. Ill and ache is no expression. Ill in heart is no expression. Ill at ease, when you're ill at ease, you are uncomfortable. I think this would make perfect sense, right? There were so many nasty comments for the person on social media, right? So that made him ill at ease, uncomfortable. Question 15. The new car has disappointed its buyers in many ways, and good mileage is its only dash. I think this was a very easy one. ये तो आपको पता होगा probably. Saving grace. Saving grace, when do we use this and what does this mean? The only good thing when everything else is negative or bad. All right? You say that only the acting of a few actors was the saving grace of the movie. The story was terrible, the direction was horrendous. So saving grace was only the acting done by the protagonist. So saving grace का concept आप समझ गए. यहाँ पे it says that the new car has disappointed its buyers in many ways. So there are many negatives, many problems. Only good mileage. Good mileage is the only positive thing. So that's why saving grace. Saving praise would be definitely illogical here and as such is not a standard idiom. Saving case also doesn't mean anything. Saving your face, yes, it's an expression. It means when you try to save face, you are trying to avoid humiliation. Because the presenter was not well prepared, so he decided to quit just before the presentation for a saving face या for saving face. यानी कि embarrassment से बचने के लिए उसने सरेंडर ही मार दिया, उसने क्विट कर दिया. हम प्रिपेयर्ड नहीं है वहां जाके गूफ अप करें, कोई मतलब नहीं है, इसलिए उसने बोला अभी नहीं कर रहे, बाद में करेंगे. ठीक है? He did it to save face. Clear? Question 16. Meena is very arrogant and class conscious. She refuses to acknowledge Sunil because she feels he's a man of no importance. Fits well. Somebody who is insignificant, right? She's very class conscious, feels very superior, and she looks down upon Sunil. Okay, he's a man of no importance, no significance. Looks good, of great importance. हो ही नहीं सकता, contradictory जा रहा है. Of less importance, what would you mean by that? Of less importance. ये भी आपको लग सकता है, but in presence of no importance, that should be the right answer. I'll tell you a reason. थोड़ा सा टेक्निकल है यहाँ पे. less जो होता है we use in a comparative sense. Actually, there is the word little, which is the positive degree, then comes less, which is the comparative, and finally comes least, which is the superlative. So when you say less importance, a comparison should be there. He is less important than Anil. Sunil and Anil maybe are my colleagues, and I feel that Sunil is less important than Anil, right? So here, less important, comparative अगर sense होता तो बैठ जाता, but here there's no such reference frame. That is why we are using A. We are marking A as the right answer. Of some importance भी अगर होता तो वो उसको शायद इतना इग्नोर ना करती और एक्नॉलेज कर देती. So even this doesn't make sense here. A is the right answer. 17th. Some big shots know how to escape the law even after they violate it. However, the dash who are more often apprehended and punished. What do you think? The answer should be small fry. While all of them might look logical enough, but then again, this is a test of your idioms. It's about the standard English expressions. Small fry is used for people who are very insignificant, powerless, very common, right? So this is a standard idiom, small fry. These words definitely are not acceptable, popular, standard idiomatic expressions. Tiny shots, tiny fish, no. Small fish. While you can use them metaphorically, I'm a small fish in front of him, but this is not a standard idiom. Small fry is the right word, okay? A is the right answer. Hope it is clear. Question 18. A few brands tailor their pants in such a way that it is easy for people with prosthetic legs, ना जो उनके artificial legs होते हैं, to put them on. This is how they. So it's telling you that how some brands are tailoring their pants, okay, so that even people who have artificial legs, prosthetic legs, can even put them on comfortably. So what are they doing actually? They're trying to tap more and more people, right? They're going the extra mile. That's what we say, right? जब आप regular से हटके कोई चीज कर रहे होते हो extra, ठीक है ना? That is go the extra mile. C is the right answer. Entire mile is wrong. It's not an expression. Extra level, go to the extreme level, certainly not. अब एक normal English के हिसाब से सही रहता, go to the extra level, but then level of what? तो ambiguity आ जाती है ना उसमें. So got to understand that go the extra mile would be definitely the perfect idiom that we need here. ठीक है? Answer clear है? All right. Next question. It grieved me dash my friend's serious illness. To hear regarding, okay, can be hearing. Grieved me hearing, no. आपको me के बाद में to hear तो लगाना ही पड़ेगा. Basic English sense, right? In नहीं आएगा, to करके hear तो आएगा. That's for sure. To hear of. Now this one was close between A and D. Now let's understand that to hear of. See, we know that some verbs, many words in general, take some prepositions. So we know that whenever we talk about hear, we normally use hear of. Sometimes we also use hear about. Yes, you can also use the word regarding. It's not going to be utterly wrong. But then when you have a better choice to hear of, the standard choice, which is a convention, which is the right expression, so why not go for it? अगर D नहीं होता तो हम फिर A select कर सकते थे, but D is just so perfect, almost like a collocation. To hear of, to hear about, right? So it grieved me to hear of my friend's serious illness. D delta would be the right answer. Finally, question number 20. My Aunt Seema was the most generous of all the members of our family. Whenever we went out for dinner, she always insisted to pay for the meal. Now, this one is slightly too technical. You've got to understand that this is actually based on the concept of subjunctive moods. Now, this is a topic, moods, and in moods, we have a variety of moods, subjunctive moods, right? Well, coming to this subjunctive mood, it normally tells you about hypothetical conditions or some wishes, commands, or suggestions. All right. And then in this, what happens is that most of the time when you use words like, advise, insist, suggest, demand, words like this, then they should take a base verb in front of them. ओके बिल्कुल जो बेस फॉर्म होता है ना फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब वो लगेगा इवन इफ योर सब्जेक्ट इज सिंगुलर इट विल नॉट टेक एस इज दिस मच क्लियर सो व्हेन वी कम टू दिस लेट्स हैव अ लुक एट दिस क्योंकि इंसिस्टेड आया हुआ है इवन द टेंस चेंज विल नॉट बी अफेक्टेड आप उसको बिल्कुल फर्स्ट फॉर्म ऑफ द वर्ब इन इट्स बेयर फॉर्म यूज करोगे So insisted that she will be paying. No, you don't need any future tense. That she pay for the meal is just so perfect. That she pay. We use the first form of the verb without any s. Though she है सिंगुलर है तो उसके साथ में हम सब्जेक्ट वर्ब एग्रीमेंट की कॉमन अंडरस्टैंडिंग होगी वर्ब के आगे हम एस लगाते हैं इन जनरल बट देन नो नॉट डूइंग दैट हियर व्हाई बिकॉज इंसिस्ट इज द वर्ड right? You'll have to read a bit of subjunctive verbs, moods, right? Subjunctive mood, thoda sa pad lo. I can't detail it out right now. I've already told you in brief. Please do your homework, study this, right? That she had paid, again, you don't need to change the tense. She insisted on and paid for the meal. Again, no. Fine? Okay. आपका डी क्यों नहीं हो सकता ग्रामेटिकली भले आपको एक्सेप्टेबल लग जाए बट ऑलवेज आप बोल रहे हो राइट शी ऑलवेज इंसिस्टेड ऑन एंड पेड फॉर द मील एंड व्हाई वुड यू से इंसिस्टेड ऑन ओके ऑलराइट चलिए सो द बेस्ट चॉइस डेफिनेटली वुड बी ऑप्शन बी see grammar questions were there but again they were manageable. Question 20 was the only slightly tricky one, I would say. Otherwise, all the other questions that came from grammar and idioms were very much doable. Listening to the recording of cricket commentary from the past can be great fun, especially the last few overs when the best players are gone and the tailenders try their best to run between the wickets without getting out. What is happening? What are tailenders? Tailenders are normally the people who play at the end. Right, जब एंड में बैटिंग कर रहे होते हैं, so bowlers come to bat and they're normally not very good at batting. So all the batsmen are gone, and it is the tailenders who are trying their best. This is when you realize that nothing much has changed, hasn't it? So this is a question on question tags. Do you know about question tags? Interesting. Question tags. This question is interesting, isn't it? ये जो हम isn't it पूछते हैं ना जो हम है ना बोलते हैं ना ये वो होते हैं question tags, right? She has become so slim, hasn't she? We use it like that, right? So simple है इसको समझना होता है. We've got to understand what is the concept behind it. So you just have to see. For example, this is the structure. You have to identify the helping verb, negate it, and then put the subject and put a question mark. That's simple formula. Clear hai? Now let's have a look at this. The Problem here is with nothing. Whenever if your sentence, original sentence has a negative word, then you will not negate it. Then you will put the helping verb as it is, right? So nothing much has changed. Hasn't it? We can't say hasn't it. Why? Because nothing is our subject, right? It's a negative already. So it should be has it. Nothing much has changed. Has it? This is the right answer. Question tags is a very simple topic. It's just going to take you like 10 to 15 minutes. Just go through it. Nothing much has changed. Would. You don't need any other helping verb or model out here, right? Is changed is not acceptable and isn't negation to आ ही नहीं सकता. So all of these are gone. D delta is the right answer. Question 22. When you play the Secret Santa, you're expected to buy a gift for whoever you are assigned without letting them know that you are the one buying the gift. Interesting. Okay. Now the point is, this is the underlined word or phrase rather in this case. We have to see which option fits in the best. The point here is it's about the pronouns here. Whoever you are assigned. It should be whomever you are assigned. Why is that so? Why? See, when we go back to the sentence, to buy a gift for whoever you are assigned. So you've got to understand that this is a preposition. And a preposition actually needs an object. And whenever we talk about any pronoun that is, after a preposition, it should be in its objective case. I will say I bought a gift for him. I'll not say I bought a gift for he. He is subjective. Him is objective. Likewise, who is subjective? Whom is objective. So, इसीलिए the same rule applies to whomever. Whoever is the subjective case. Subjective case refers to when it's acting like the subject. But यहाँ पे object की तरह act कर रहा है, तो इसलिए आप बोलोगे whomever. And that is objective case. Whomever you are assigned. Who you are assigned नहीं, objective होना था. Whoever नहीं हो सकता. To buy a gift for whom you are assigned, again, ever is important because you are absolutely clueless, right? तो जिसको भी, इसीलिए whomever would be a better choice as compared to whom. I hope it is clear. All right. Next question, question 23. Justin couldn't understand why his friend had refused to work in a company that offered him a huge salary. If it had been him in his friend's place, he would definitely accepted such an offer. Now, this is another very common question type. Class, study this really well because I've seen this coming so often. This is the topic of conditionals. Tenses, conditionals, subject-verb agreement, prepositions, nouns, pronouns. These are mostly very, very important topics. Fine. Now, having read this sentence, I hope you understand that this is all a hypothetical situation. कंडीशनल्स अगर आपको पता है तो आप देखते से ही समझ सकते हो कि कौन सा कंडीशनल है. क्लास बताइए, मैसेज करिए मुझको, मैसेज इट टू मी इन द कमेंट सेक्शन. कौन सा कंडीशनल है ये? एक्चुअली इट इज द थर्ड कंडीशनल, where we normally discuss situations which have actually already happened. अगर ऐसा हो जाता तो हम वो कर लेते. The reality is that the event has already happened. It has transpired. Now you can't change it. अगर मैं पढ़ लेती तो मेरा IPMAT निकल जाता. कैसे बोलते हैं हम उसको? इसका it has a definite structure. Okay, what is the definite structure? Like I'll tell you. If clause We use past perfect. Okay. This is the structure for the past perfect. You have to use this in the if clause. And in your main clause, you normally use would, have, plus V3. Instead of would, you can also use could, might, etc. If you had studied well, you would have cleared IPMAT exam. कहना मैडम इस वक्त ऐसी बातें मत करो, थोड़ी अच्छी बातें करो. Okay. So, I hope you have understood the structure. Now here it says कि अगर उसकी जगह मैं होती तो मैंने definitely ये offer accept कर लिया होता. So you've identified, yes, this is certainly the third conditional. You can clearly see the past perfect here, right? And so the next structure, one of the main clause, should be of this format. He would have definitely, but it have additional aa gaya. We don't need this. Accepted, no. He would have definitely accepted such an offer. Makes sense. C should be the right answer. Have definitely accept nahi ho sakta. Have ke saath mein you can never have the first form of the verb. I hope it is clear. Question number 24. Very easy question. The setting of a story affects the story's plot. Now, there are two problems here. Number one, there's no apostrophe here in the story. And number two, this word is incorrectly used here. Affect, effect. When you give a quick glance at the options, you can figure out that the examiner expects to know whether you can distinguish between these two words, affect and effect. And I believe we already know about it. Affect is actually a verb and effect is a noun form. Meaning remains the same in a way. प्रभाव डालना, असर डालना किसी चीज पे. So what it says, the setting of a story has an impact on the story's plot. So we actually need a verb, right? Because it's casting an impact. है ना? असर डाल रही है. We need a verb here. So that's why we must say affect. Now, should it be affect or should it be affects? Again, what is your subject? Setting. Setting, an uncountable noun, of course, should be treated like a singular noun. When it is singular, then even your verb should have S. It should have S. It doesn't have. Affects. Affects. So, ये सही है. We eliminate option A and option B, right? Affects, but look here, affects the story's plot. Here, the story plots. We need an apostrophe, right? Plot of the story, right? Story's plot. We need an apostrophe. Yes, hence C should be the right answer. Very simple question, right? So students, we have come really far. We have discussed question 1 to question 24. I guess this much is enough for today. But you have to be back tomorrow. That is on the 8th of February at the same time, 4:30 p.m. We will be solving the remaining questions. And yes, the remaining questions are way more challenging because we're going to have para-jumbles, para-completion, and fillers, right? So we'll be doing the remaining questions tomorrow till question number 45, and you have to be there. Catch you tomorrow. Bye-bye.